Hey everybody, no XVM on this one because my PC is not actually hooked up to the internet yet. I've just moved, and so at the moment I haven't got a wired connection through here, and my spare wireless adapter I had for the PC isn't working, so only my laptop's hooked up to the wireless, and obviously my laptop doesn't run the game very well. So I'm recording these replays just off my PC while I wait for my net to get hooked up. I was thinking of just waiting until I get back from the holidays to do it, but I realised by then I'm going to have a massive backlog and 9.5 will be well and truly out. So anyway, here we are in the E75, teamed up with Marius Lecter and Southern Dandy. For once, Dandy actually isn't playing the 53-55, he's bought 704 instead. I wasn't playing the best, had a couple frustrating games, and so I decided to switch to the E75 just basically in desperation to try and get some wins. The E75 is probably one of the most reliable tanks in the game for doing so, and I figured, you know, what could possibly go wrong? Well, quite a bit, as it turns out. So I don't really play heavies a whole lot, especially on this map, so I wasn't sure what to do with E75. I ended up taking it through the east side of the map along the high ground, which is where I usually take my mediums. Now, even in mediums, this can be a risky proposition. In an E75, well, I roll up. The E50M is giving me a nice easy shot at his lower plate, but first of all, our T-47 nearly beats it. Second of all, it flies low and bounces off his belly plate, I think, or actually no, a little high on the upper plate. Doesn't really matter. Put it this way, it didn't pan. Again, I go for the lower plate. I start moving too early, and my shot goes into the track. He's still in the same place, which is really stupid on this part. That was my fault, fighting for the game actually started. But thankfully our T-57 gets at least one damaging shot in before the E50M pulls out of cover. Or sorry, into cover. It's out of my shot and into cover. Marius is getting beat up on pretty badly, so I start moving up to try and take some hits instead of him. At this point, it looks like the enemy are pretty weak on the eastern flank of the map. Most of their tanks are seemingly either hanging around their base or in the west, maybe even on the beach, which is really stupid. Spot this guy and go for him. Finally my gun hits something and actually pins it. At this point, Marius had a nice shot, and as you can see, I was getting pretty frustrated with the E75's gun. The gun really isn't that bad, it's just a combination of me not waiting for my shots to settle and bad RNG. The E75 certainly doesn't quite have the kind of accuracy you want for longer range shots, so it's not as much of a sniper as some of the earlier German tanks. I roll up on these guys pretty carelessly because I feel pretty safe in doing so. They do have an unlit 704, I'm not too worried just at the moment. I've got a bunch of shit here I can go hit. Very nice hit from the T92 there. So I push in around the sides of these guys, they're not even paying attention. Well, the drawing metal is he actually pulls back a bit. I decided to go for the KB3 just because he was giving me full broadside, and I decided I could take cover behind the ISU and stop the Rumba from hitting me, which was correct. Cleaned him up before I can reload his 150mm gun, which is really not a great decision on that tank. Definitely I would recommend the 128 instead. And with the help of the E50M, I clean up KB3, which really wasn't much of a challenge. So, stock turret KB3. It's basically like fighting a T-150 just with extra hit points. So T28 Proto's been spotted and actually cleans up the E50M. Now we know where their 704 is, but I figure that T57 plus the other heavy tank he has in backup, the IS-3, can probably handle that. Surely they can handle it. One of them can keep it distracted and the other one can go round, right? Nope. They both drive headlong into it and the T57 gets deleted while the IS-3 is busy getting hit out of, I'm guessing, the centre. It looks like it's coming from the T28 actually, because the 430 is still around the other side at this point. And indeed there he is, still full health, putting out a fair amount of damage, including on me earlier, but he wasn't paying enough attention to his map, or he just thought he could get away with it, I guess, and so I'm able to push up on him and get a shot in before he can react. He does actually get some shots into me, but it's obvious this is not a fight that the 430 can win. The 430's best hope here would be to run up and face hug me. Instead he actually backs away, putting more distance between us and making it even easier to hit him. As good as a 430's armor is, it's not good enough to tank on the 75. Especially if he keeps displaying his hull at me. As I walk over that little piece of terrain there, it gives me a nice angle on his upper plate, and so I take the shot and finish him. Now it's just the 704 left. And having secured 6 kills, I decide to push through and try and get 704. I wasn't sure how much he moved by now. I figured he'd probably be coming back. I just didn't think he'd be quite as close as this. And right as I clicked, he destroyed me, so my shot didn't register. So an unfortunate end to the match, but it was a win, obviously. There's no way even the worst puppies could throw this. And not only was it a win, it was decent damage, but also a top gun match for me. So I was pretty content with that after a bunch of shitty matches earlier. The E75 is probably the best heavy tank overall in the entire game, and probably one of the 3 or 4 best tanks in the game overall, regardless of class. It's got hit points, it's got armor, it's got a decent gun, not spectacular but certainly not bad, despite my bitching earlier in the match because I couldn't hit anything with it. Its mobility actually isn't that bad despite its armor. Really, the only thing that ended the IS-4's reign of terror back when it was still a tier 9 was the E75 just being better at everything than the IS-4 was, pretty much. Which isn't to say the IS-4 was instantly dethroned by this. It was a slow process, but the E75 gradually became more and more popular, and when the IS-4 was finally moved up to tier 10, it kind of drove the final nail into its coffin, and now IS-4s are pretty unpopular. The IS-4 is not by any measure a bad tank, it's just a slow tank, and it's not as strong in tier as it was in tier 9. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. I wish you the best of luck in the field, and I'll see you on the next one.